There is a door in your house that you did not open. You have walked past it for weeks, assuming it was locked, planning your approach, gathering tools, but the handle has already turned from the other side. This week's 7 verses trace a single pattern: God moving before the human is prepared, speaking before the prayer is formed, arriving before the welcome is arranged. Watch for who acts first in every passage. That sequence is the point. Jesus described the siege engine by its technical name 40 years before it was built. Luke 19:43 says, "For the days will come upon you when your enemies will set up a barricade around you and surround you and hem you in on every side." That word barricade, karax, is military vocabulary. It means a siege rampart, timber, and packed earth. Jesus wasn't speaking in metaphor. He was weeping. And while weeping, he named the exact structure Roman engineers would raise around Jerusalem in 70 AD. The precision matters. This isn't rage. It's grief naming what refusal produces. The walls that close in are not sent. They are built by every rejected offer of peace. The barricade was coming either way. The peace was optional. It still is. The blind are not healed first. They are led blind. Isaiah 42 verse 16 says, "And I will lead the blind in a way that they do not know, in paths that they have not known. I will guide them. I will turn the darkness before them into light, the rough places into level ground. These are the things I do, and I do not forsake them." That word rough, in Hebrew it means twisted, crooked. God does not promise you a road without turns. He promises to straighten the ground under your feet as you walk it. The reshaping happens in motion, not before departure. And the last line is not comfort, it is self-definition. God is telling you who He is by naming what He does. You do not need to see the road. The road is being remade beneath you. This single line appears over 150 times in Scripture, and it is never filler. Numbers 8:23 says, "And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying," notice who moves first. Moses is not praying here. He is not searching. The sentence has no command, no promise, just God opening His mouth before anyone asked Him to. The word saying hangs incomplete, a door swung open from the other side. What follows is a retirement policy for priests, mundane, administrative, yet God initiates it Himself. The architecture is clear. Divine speech precedes human response, every time. You were never the one who had to start the conversation. He already did. Ezekiel never once asked for the word that arrived next. Ezekiel 21 verse 1 says, "The word of the Lord came to me." Notice the verb, came. Not I sought or I found, it came. The Hebrew construction treats this word as an event that happens to the prophet, not something he generates. Ezekiel was a priest in exile, sitting by a canal in Babylon, and the word arrived uninvited. What followed was a sword oracle against his own people. You do not get to curate which words of God reach you. Revelation is not a playlist you control. The word that comes unbidden is often the one you needed most to hear. Daniel thanked God in Aramaic, the empire's own language turned into praise. Daniel 2:23 says, "To you, O God of my fathers, I give thanks and praise, for you have given me wisdom and might, and have now made known to me what we asked of you, for you have made known to us the king's matter." Watch the pronouns. God gave me wisdom, but we asked and God revealed it to us. Daniel refuses to privatize what came through collective prayer. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah were on their knees that night too. The answer arrived through Daniel's mouth, but the credit stays plural. When your breakthrough finally comes, integrity sounds like us, not me. Name the people who prayed you through it, and thank God before you move. Mark names Judas as one of the 12. Not his hometown, not his motive, just his rank among friends. Mark 14:43 says, "And immediately while he was still speaking, Judas came, one of the 12, and with him a crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests and the scribes and the elders." While he was still speaking, not after, not the next morning. The torches broke through the olive trees before the last word of prayer left his mouth. Mark wants you to feel the collision. That betrayal does not politely wait for a pause in the conversation. And the crowd brought swords and clubs both, because they could not decide if they were arresting a prophet or a rebel. They sent the full Sanhedrin's authority against a man on his knees. The one who handed him over had heard every parable firsthand. Proximity is not loyalty. One table was enough for the ritual. Solomon built 10. 2 Chronicles 4:8 says, "He also made 10 tables and placed them in the temple, 5 on the south side and 5 on the north side, and he made 100 basins of gold." 5 on the south, 5 on the north. That symmetry is not decoration. It is theology. The chronicler wrote this to exiles rebuilding from rubble, showing them that God's house was never improvised. Every surface was deliberate. Your own worship has architecture, the rhythms you keep, the spaces you prepare. What you arrange before you arrive reveals what you expect to meet. Gratitude is not only felt, it is built, arranged, and set in place before God arrives. The instinct runs deep. You believe you must get ready before God shows up. Clean the room, fix the theology, stabilize the emotions, then, only then, open the door to revelation. Every verse this week dismantles that sequence. The word arrives at a canal in Babylon without an invitation. Speech opens toward Moses before a single syllable of request. The blind are mid-stride on a road they cannot see when the ground begins to flatten. Swords crash through an olive grove before the prayer is finished. A siege is named with engineering precision decades before the first timber is cut. And in a temple not yet dedicated, 10 tables stand where one would have sufficed. Because the builder understood that you prepare abundance for a God who has already decided to come. The assumption these texts destroy is that divine action is reactive, that God waits for your signal. That revelation follows seeking the way, and echo follows a shout. It does not. The Hebrew construction is blunt. The word came, the way weather comes. You are not the cause, you are the location. This matters for the season you are in right now. If you have been waiting to feel spiritually ready before you open Scripture again, before you return to prayer, before you sit with a community that knew you when you were less fractured, you are solving a problem God already solved. He does not need your composure. Daniel's friends were on their knees in a foreign empire with execution scheduled for morning. The answer arrived anyway. It arrived as a gift with plural fingerprints. The only question worth sitting with this week is this: what are you postponing until you feel ready, that God may have already begun without your permission? Next week, 7 new verses arrive, each one pressing into what it costs to stay when God asks you not to leave. Subscribe so you catch both the daily readings and the weekly pattern that connects them. The God who spoke before you asked has not stopped speaking since.